Hello and welcome back to the Playbase. I'm so excited because in front of me is Dr. Fay Gersh, who I met years ago at a birthday party. And I actually have not seen you in person since that day. We both, in that time, immigrated from Toronto to South Florida. And I remember at the time finding it so exciting to hear about your OT journey and your journey as a mom. And now that we have this joint experience also of immigration, parenting, helping different people with our therapeutic lens, I'd love to introduce you, Dr. Fay Gersh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm honored. We were just saying, like, I'm a newbie.
You're a newbie to podcasting.
This is my first time. I'm a bit nervous. Bear with me.
That's okay. It's totally normal.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to be like here with you in person. You know,
Me too.
Everybody's in touch today, but like in the digital world. You know? So it's nice to see a face, a friendly face.
Yes, and to get to share the space together.
Yeah.
So I've got to watch your journey, as you said, online.
Okay.
And see what you've been doing, which you've been doing quite a few very interesting things. Okay. The experience I had with OTs, which has very much since I started in my field, my mind has grown so much as to like what OTs do. Mm-hmm. But I remember when I started, my experience of what an OT does was in an OT gym, working with children on things like fine motor, gross motor, body and space, connection to the body, all those different elements. I remember I actually wanted to be an OT when I started in the therapeutic world.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I used to be a dancer once upon a time. Used to be, still am, whatever, I don't know. But having been a dancer, I've had this very strong connection to my body. And the way my body processes things and the way it holds on to things and how dance really helped me work through things that I couldn't necessarily realize at the time or even connect to in the same way. But music and movement just allowed things to flow. And I really learned at a young age what that mind-body connection felt like. Mm-hmm. And so that to me is what OT was for a long time. And I was like, I want to do this. Wasn't a big fan of learning anatomy or any of that stuff. And that kind of...
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I shied away and ended up pursuing more so my field. And the more I learned that OTs do a lot more than
it's like
that.
Medicine, right? So you choose your area of expertise based on what you're interested in.
Right.
So then you have to you graduate school and then you have to go and seek alternative education, like continuing education, credentials, certifications, experience, residency, right? It's like medicine.
Yeah.
And then you find your way if you're lucky. But lots of OTs choose pediatrics. Yes, it's popular.
Yeah, it's the only OT that I knew anything about until I learned about OTs who work with brain injuries and with accidents and in hospitals. And like even the world of speech opened up to me when I learned about how they worked outside of pediatrics, because I worked in pediatrics. That's all that I knew. Tell me a little bit about your OT journey.
So, I mean, what we do, it's very multidisciplinary, right? Like we all work together.
Yep.
Speech, OT, PT. You'll often see like agencies where we're all together, right? And then we refer each other out to the clients. So I've been practicing now for 12 years. I started in pediatrics because that's what everyone kind of was doing at the time. And I wasn't a mom at the time. When I became an OT, I was actually pregnant. So my first year of practicing was also my first year being a mom.
Right.
So naturally, you know, I gravitated toward working with kids, pediatrics. I chose OT because, well, first, before pursuing an allied health profession, I was working in real estate business. I had an MBA.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes, I have a bachelor's in business. And then I moved from New York. I came here. I got my MBA from Nova Southeastern University. I got a real estate development job. I was doing that. And then in 2008, and I'm not sure if you know, but like we had a real estate crash.
Yes.
And so I just kind of thought, okay, hold on. I know that one day I want to get married. I'd love to start a family. I need to find something that is flexible. I'm a woman. I need flexibility. I need time for myself. I prioritize my self-care. I can't do that in corporate worlds. Like I knew that. Like years before I even went into health, I knew that I need to find something that I would be aligned, personally aligned, professionally aligned. So I knew that, okay, I have to find something that's going to give me the mom flexibility, the alignment flexibility where I'm actually serving for a cause that I believe in.
Right.
And so I met an OT in the community, and we became great friends. Her name is Irene. She lives in Boca now, actually.
Oh, cool.
And I just loved what she was doing. She worked with kids, and she was happy, and she was a mom, and she had great flexibility. So she'd drop off her kids, she'd see her clients, she'd do her notes, pick up her kids. While they were doing homework, she was doing her notes, and she made it work for her lifestyle.
Right.
So I kind of I got into it. I had to start everything over again because I have a business background. So I had to take my anatomy, my physiology, kinesiology, and then basically I went back to grad school in my late 20s. And after working in real estate and all that, and I did that here at Barry University, and I met my husband, and he's a Canadian. I know this is like a long story, but like
I love it.
I feel like this is, it's part of my life.
Yeah, of course.
And so at that point, I was finishing up, and we were getting serious. And he lives in Toronto at the time, and I'm American. How are we going to do this? Like kind of the reverse of your situation, right? I had to go through immigration
to go to Canada.
I was an immigrant.
Right.
I was born in San Francisco. I'm American. Like I'm a first generation American.
Right.
In my family. So he was the guy for me. I was already at that point where I was 30.
Right.
Getting married, and I found my person. I wasn't going to let location, career.
Stop that. Right.
Thwart me from living my best life. And part of my best life was finding a life partner and starting a family. So I moved to Canada. I went through an immigration process. Now I'm a dual citizen. And naturally, so I gave birth to our first child, Ari, and I knew that I needed to get back to work. I wasn't a typical Canadian that took 18 weeks off for mat leave. Like I needed that work-life balance.
Right.
Right? I don't really believe in balance so much these days.
Yeah.
Like at that time, I was convinced that I needed to get out of my mom role during the day and do something to fulfill me.
Right.
So pediatrics was like the natural area of practice for me. And I started servicing the local private Jewish day schools because we live Thornhill is like a very Jewish area at the time. And people got to know me. And till this day, I get referrals.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved pediatrics. Then I had our second child. And what ended up happening, I started connecting with moms. When you're an OT, like, I connected with dads, right? But moms were first in line.
Yeah.
Moms were the ones that I was training for home exercise programs. Right. Everything was like centered around the mom.
Right.
And being a mom myself, like we just connected. And it went from like talking about their child's like progress, goals, to somehow getting personal, like my postpartum depression, like my postpartum intimacy issues, my pelvic floor incontinence, which is a big deal. Like I want to take my kids to the trampoline park, but I can't,
right?
Because I have to go change my, because it's just I have a weak bladder, and I just somehow it just started being like a mother consulting role, and I liked it. And I felt more connected to the moms. And I'll be honest with you, I started experiencing my own burnout with being a mom. and working with kids all day and then coming home to kids. And sometime around COVID, there was a pivot in my life. Living in Canada, we were home, working, everyone was home. And I was getting calls from moms saying, hey, do you do like therapy? I'd really love to like work with you. I need coaching. I have this problem, I have that problem, and you've helped me. Like we've talked about it in person, and like
you've been my therapist. Untraditionally, can you be my tradition?
Home exercise program for like my pelvic floor dysfunction.
Right.
I went to a therapist, a physical therapist, but he wasn't really addressing me holistically.
Right.
And you're fit. You've talked about how you helped your pelvic floor. Can you like show me what worked for you? Like, can you give me some coaching?
Right.
And it was very organic. I didn't plant a seed purposefully.
Right.
Know? And so, I don't know, I just feel like the stars were aligned, and I started doing remote therapy.
Cool.
And a lot of it consisted of mental health, the pelvic floor dysfunction, and I took some training courses, and like I've done Pilates for over, 15 years. And not to say Pilates is the sole modality, but it really does help. Strengthening the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
And so then I started making like mini guides. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder if like I can create digital products and like make it accessible and sell them, not even for a lot of money, like just sell it, like, and see if, all of the resources that I've acquired throughout the years, maybe I can put it out there in the universe. So it's kind of been like a stepping stone, a work in progress. And so, my whole world started becoming about intimacy. So I want to ask you a question, like, when I say intimacy, no right or wrong answers, like, what is intimacy to you?
Usually between two loved people, the way in which they share and express their love and affection for each other.
Beautiful answer. But what about yourself? Like, the greatest form of intimacy starts with yourself as a man or a woman, right? It's a part of self-love.
Right.
So a lot of the content that I've been making is about self-love, because that is the greatest form of intimacy, the connection that you have with yourself. And when you form that deep connection with yourself, you are able to forge deeper intimacy with
others,
loved ones, with your children, right? You're able to emotionally regulate yourself and like open up, your world to your clients, whoever you serve, your community, your children. It all starts with intimacy, right? So
that is so...
And that's how I became
beautiful.
Intima OT.
I didn't know that's how you became that. That's what I want to know, because when I said it
myself in my early 40s. So my husband still doesn't understand.
It's okay. My husband doesn't understand what I do either.
Old school, like Russian Ukrainian in-laws are like, are you
a sex therapist?
Are you doing sex? Are you an OnlyFans?
Oh my God! You're like, no.
No, and it's not like at the core of what I do, but I just love this topic. I think it's really important. I think it's important that people understand like intimacy lies within yourself.
Right.
Your connection to yourself. What is intimacy? It's like closeness.
Right.
Right. So you need to be close with yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself if you want to have a happy, healthy marriage, right? If you can't be close with yourself, how are you going to be close with your partner? Like, you need to have like those like these deep like moments with yourself, and that's intimate. And say, what makes me happy? What makes me like excited, and what brings me joy? That's intimacy.
That's really beautiful. And it actually, so much of what you touched on is bringing up so much for me about things I have recently been thinking about, talking about.
Share.
So recently I posted on social media based on a story that I heard that really broke my heart. And it was about burnout in our fields of therapeutic services of servicing other people, whether you're in education or in therapy of any kind. When you're serving other people and you're giving of yourself, we often think more about the other person. We often think about, what do other people need from me? What do I need to do? How can I service, right? When you're in the field of servicing, we don't always check in with ourselves. Where am I? What do I need? I think as a human, I had to learn that skill much later in life than I wish I had. This idea of self-love, or this idea of caring for myself, because it fuels me so much to care for others that I don't pay attention to whether I'm actually being fueled. Yes. To whether I'm really being fueled. And I have found myself in situations, more specifically, I would say in my parenting than in any other area, maybe in my marriage too, less so in my work, where I show up depleted. And I explain to people that when you're giving from an empty cup, what you give, you wish you could take back, because you're giving from depletion. And when you're not refueling yourself, when you're not taking care of yourself, being intimate with yourself, like finding those moments where I'm refueling myself with what I need and what makes me feel good. And when you are in a field or doesn't have to be work, like when you are parenting, which is the most unpaid, hardest job on the planet.
It is.
Like, have you ever seen, there was an old video, and it was like a job posting, and they were like interviewing people for this role, and then they finished with, it's unpaid and it's 24 hours and you don't get a break, and everyone's like, what? And then the title is mom, right? Or dad, like caregiver.
Sure.
And I think this topic has become a very like fluffy topic, like self-love and taking care of yourself and filling your own cup and putting your mask on first, like all these like expressions and these ideas. But like, what does it really mean? Like, what you are getting at the root of is like, if you don't take care of yourself for real, what you give out into the world, you probably wish to take back.
Right.
And you will need to be taken care of in some way. Like, it is the most important thing you do.
Do you know how you accomplish that?
Taking care of yourself?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Putting yourself first.
And it's like, I don't know, you were raised by Soviets like I was raised by Soviets, and that's like such a frowned upon idea.
No, for sure. Like, it's like reverse engineering.
Yes.
Right? Like, you really need to, and I remember I was listening to you talking to Nicole, my best friend.
Nicole Pekerman, shout out.
About narratives, right?
Yep.
So you need to rewire your own personal narrative.
Yeah.
And like everything that you've kind of been exposed to your whole life, your existence, and basically say, no, like being selfish is the only way, and it's nothing wrong with that. Right. I need to put myself first. Call it selfish? Okay, I'm selfish. If I don't put myself first, then I won't have the energy. If I won't take my walk in nature, nature's grounding.
Yep.
People say, where to start? Take off your shoes and go for a walk on the beach.
Oh my God. It's the best feeling in the world.
If you live in a cold place, buy yourself one of those mats. Like, put yourself in there, those red mats, those hot mats, and like just close your eyes, go in there and just like be with yourself. Like not say shut your brain off, but like try to like quiet the noise.
Right.
Right. And like just be with yourself. Go for a walk, be with yourself. Like slow down the noise. It's hard as a mom, right?
Yes.
Noise. We're women, right? Like, so it's never stop. Like the noise never stops. It won't. But you can quiet it, like the volume, just quiet the noise and go for a walk. Grab a friend if you don't want to be alone, but just do it. Go for a walk. Like, be mindful. You teach mindfulness.
Yeah.
Like, observe your surroundings. There's so much beauty around us.
It's the best.
It's grounding.
Yes.
It's really you don't have to spend money. It's the simplest things that you can do that make that like shift.
You know, I remember sitting in my bedroom. I used to have a desk in my bedroom at one point.
Yeah.
And watching the snow fall, which is at this point probably my least favorite thing. But at the time it's what I had, and watching it fall, watching, you know, my daughter, when I first had her, I would take her for walks outside and I would watch her. I'll never forget. I watched her, the leaves would like dance in the wind, and she would like look up at them and like in awe. And I would stop and I would be like, I'd pay attention too. I'd, for the first time, be like, oh, yeah. Look.
She was being mindful.
Yes, she was being in the moment, and I was thinking,
present.
Yes,
she was being present.
Yeah, and I would look and be like, wow, the leaves are dancing in the wind, and look how pretty that is, and the sun is shining on your face, and wherever you are, if the sun is shining, take a moment and
that's joy.
Look, yes, let the sun soak in on your body. Like when I talk to my kids, I say, think about your happy place. For me, that's the beach. And so I say, feel your feet in the sand, and the warm sand and the cool wave kisses your toes, and you feel the sun on your face, and it's warming. But it's like you walk through the sensory experience. Like you listen to the waves, and just experiencing that is regulating.
We're sensory beings.
Yes.
Right? Yes, like so as an OT, I always have that clinical lens. Like we are sensory beings.
Yep.
Right. So I think that we really need to get back to that. And like parents, caregivers, professionals, like burnout is real.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone is experiencing some sort of a digital burnout, parental burnout, marriage burnout, like just the demands of life.
Yeah.
It's nonstop, right?
Yeah.
But there are ways to deal with all of it. And I'm not saying balance, I'm saying order of priority.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of that's what I do in my practice. It's what I do in my practice. I help my clients determine that order of priority.
That's really meaningful.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I started out working directly with children. I actually remember when I taught dance, one of my students, her mom was an OT. She used to be a pediatric OT, and she said, I burnt out from working in pediatrics to coming home to my children. I couldn't do it anymore. So she moved on. She moved on to a different type of practice in OT. She was one of the first people that when she told me she worked with brain injury, I was like, what? What do you do? And then when she explained that OTs do all these different things, because all I had been exposed to is pediatrics, it's a very cool field. And, you know, I then moved on to working with the parents and running a business and working with therapists and working with educators and consulting at schools. And I fell in love with consulting at schools and working with parents, which I thought I would never like because I loved working with kids so much. And as my business grew and as I grew, especially in the last month, I would say it's become such a hot topic for me, this idea of supporting the parents. More than the last month. I think it's just been very like repeated in conversation.
Support.
So much.
Parents need a lot of support.
And it's, you know, there's no playbook for parenting. There's no rule book. And everyone does the best they can with what they have. Right. And we're all trying to navigate and figure it out. And there's just such a need because the information that we have from our, you know, academic, professional, and experiential lens from what we've been able to figure out through all of that is such an important gift to give.
I agree.
And as a mom myself, I don't always use it because
of course
I'm a human, and that means that I am not.
It's not always easy to pause. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
No, no, it's not.
Right.
But
you're human.
Yes.
Sure.
But I have acquired an understanding and a set of skills and tools that allow me to sometimes, hopefully more often than not, use them and also empower my children with them.
Well, little Chloe's very well-rounded. I was listening to the podcast and it was very special.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Sarah was like, so Sarah's my life coach. She's 9. And she told me today, she said, Mama, have an amazing time. Just be yourself.
Right? Our kids.
Yourself. Like, I'm like, okay, no problem. I just like save like, all this money on life coaching and therapy. She's just like, be yourself, like just have fun, be natural.
That's right.
Talk about like what you know.
The rest doesn't matter.
It was so light.
Yeah.
Like kids are light.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Like I love working with kids, but I'm like yourself. Like right now, I'm in this season of I'm in motherhood. That's my season. That's my main hat. And it takes a lot of my energy.
Yeah.
And so I am very in tune with my capacity. So I try not to spread myself too thin because then I burn out.
Right.
When I'm close to that burnout, I start to feel like my immune system is I start to feel like the tingles in my throat, like I can't function. I can't do what I need to do to be like optimal Fay. Right?
So I think what's important is that for everyone listening is that every single one of us on this planet have experienced that.
Sure.
And I think the important message is to listen to it. And what is it telling you? The whole practice of mindfulness that I preach so much about is about being in tune with yourself, with your environment. And so with my therapists, it's for yourself, for your client, for the environment your client is in, and being aware of all that. And how do you utilize that information? Mm-hmm. For parents, it's for ourselves, our partners, our children, our environment. And when your body is saying to you, I need a break or I need something, if we ignore it, it's just going to get louder.
Yeah.
And louder. And I believe the universe does the same thing. Like life does the same thing.
I agree. Like don't try to push the door open, right? Like if it's not opening for you, then there's probably a reason. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's like, I'm not trying to get into like the whole mystics of things, but like, I do believe that there's a certain like energy shift that occurs. Like, don't push so hard. If the door's not opening, if an opportunity is not presenting itself, then just let it be. Like, yeah. I'm personally guilty a little bit of this, like the mom Fay, right? Where like, we were talking earlier about like getting your kids into certain schools and like really calling them and saying, get my kid in, he's amazing, all this, but like, it might not be the right fit, right? Like there might be like a better fit somewhere. It might not meet all of your criteria. Like it might not be on paper what you thought it should be like, but maybe it's better for that one kid. Maybe you need to separate your kids and have one go to one school and another go another. And that's fine. Like kind of don't push too hard. If a door opens for one kid and closes for another, it's painful for like a parent, but perhaps there's a reason. Like don't fight it.
So
that's kind of my own personal reflection.
I think it's a very meaningful and beautiful one because for me, I believe everything happens divinely as it should. And sometimes I need to remind myself to fall back into that faith because I believe that we're all here with our own journey. Our souls are here on our own journey. Our children are included in that. Deeply. Yeah. And our children also have their own journey.
They're their own souls.
Exactly.
Right? Like we're their parents, but they came into this world as their own unique soul.
Correct. And they are here to experience whatever they're here to experience. And we can't save them.
Right. That's hard. It's so hard.
It is I think the hardest part of parenting.
Yeah.
Is knowing your children are going to struggle and you can't save them from it. Yeah. In fact, you shouldn't.
I know.
Because to save them from it means that you're making them incapable of working through it in the future.
No, they need to have their resilience. Like we've developed our resilience. Like they need to have their experiences, their struggles. Like they need to find their joy. They need to find their passion. But I do feel like parenting today, you have all these resources. Like we had nothing.
I know.
And it's like, there's so much information out there. You want to give them what you can.
Yes, you want to empower them.
What you didn't have, like you want to give, like we want to give.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom this morning. She's here visiting, and she was saying how we're talking about my kids. She was like, they're so smart. She goes, but you let them have a voice. She goes, I wasn't allowed to have one. Wasn't allowed. And then I think about myself, how the people pleaser, my nervous system goes into freeze or fawn. Those are the two things. It doesn't go into fight or flight. It goes into freeze or fawn.
I'm similar.
Yeah. And I see my kids, and some of them have similar qualities to me. And I'm watching, and I'm just thinking about how I was raised in an environment where at school, sit, be quiet, do what you're meant to do. Like if I got in trouble, I was hysterically crying. I'm so sorry. I did something wrong. I can't believe I upset an adult. Like, oh my God, that was me. If my mom finds out that I got in trouble, like I'm dead. Now, the idea for me in my parenting is I have firm but loving boundaries. And there's rhyme or reason for them. It's not because I said so. You need to understand them. So for instance, my Chloe, she loves sugar. If she could consume sugar for all meals, so do I. If she could consume it for all meals, she would. She would also overconsume it. She would consume it till she gets sick. Like she would consume it, okay? And so we have boundaries around it. And it was her birthday. So we kind of let loose her on the boundaries and allowed for more.
You have to.
Yeah. And she sat, we took her to watch a musical, and she got M&Ms, and my other daughter got, gummies, which we normally don't get. And I think they felt this like, oh my God, like we get to have cake, and then we're having, this. It was a special occasion. And she looked at me and I said, it's okay. It's not going to kill you. If you eat like this every day, it will be really bad for you, but it's okay to do this sometimes. And it was almost like she needed to know that boundary was lifted for a moment so that she could have it. Because otherwise, if there is no boundary, she will not live a healthy life.
For sure.
She will have health issues and may not have any teeth. I don't know.
Well, we all need boundaries. We need personal boundaries, professional.
Yes.
Like structure.
Yes.
I do believe human beings thrive with structure.
100%.
And boundaries is like a personal structure.
Correct.
That if you just allow yourself to do
whatever, or you allow your children, because your children don't have the discernment.
Staff.
Correct. They don't have universal. The discernment. Correct. So I think in my parenting that there's that element, but there's also this element of conversation and of holding space and allowing them to share and having a voice and wanting to hear. And so I say to them, when I say no, it's no. But if you have a question about it, or you want to understand why it's no, or you want to make, an argument as to why it should be yes, I will listen. But it's not no to my no. That's not how it goes. If the answer is no, we can have a conversation. Right. And maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't know something. Or maybe it's going to still say no. Sorry. Yeah, still no. But this idea that there's space. There's space for a voice. There's space for questioning and thinking. And not questioning authority in I'm going to argue every single thing. But questioning what is actually right and what feels right for me.
This is a learning opportunity. These micro moments are the learning opportunities, right? That
I think it also teaches one of the things that I'm hoping it's teaching, one of the things that leads to this self-love piece is self-awareness. And I did not ask myself for the majority of my life, what do I want? What do I need?
Like when Chloe asked, may I, when she asked, and looked up at you like, Mom, can I have that cake, or like, and the candy? And then like there's going to come a time in her life where she's not going to, like, Mom's not gonna be there.
Correct. Mom shouldn't be
by
there.
her side to look up and say, can I? So that's a part of like that intimacy with yourself. Like, you know, should I? Is this good for me? Like, should I skip this workout? If it's a part of my routine, should I skip it? I mean, I can go, but no, I have to go. Like, it's this, like, this conversation with yourself, right? Like, you will be replaced by Chloe. Like, Chloe has to, like, form her own inner voice.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing for her.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
it's wonderful.
Allowing them the space to share their thoughts and talk through it, I think allows them to hear their own thoughts, which for me growing up, it was do what you're supposed to do or else. Right. And I think I was lucky that my mom was an or else, but also a very loving person and who held space for me, but didn't have the tools, like you said, that we have now.
No, our parents didn't have the tools.
Of course not.
And I think, like, universally, like, all children from Soviet parents, like immigrant families.
Yeah.
But like Soviets, like, are a little bit like hard.
Yeah.
You know, and like
they grew up in harsh conditions.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about like these intimate things, and we didn't talk about sex. We didn't talk about relationships. We didn't talk about like, you know, it was always just like, I work hard to put food on the table. You eat your food, like eat it all. You know? You can't get up till you finish your whole plate. Yep. Like, it was like very like everything was like scarce. I work so hard, you know? And like you grew up seeing that, like, oh my God, they worked so hard, you know? And like, and like there were moments for like shared moments with connection and but not like answering questions, like not like, you know, like we have with our kids, right? No. It's like a different generation. Not because they're bad, right? Like, there's no trauma here. I'm not like, you know, no generational trauma talk. But it's more like just every generation improves.
Correct.
It's supposed to. That's what evolution is about.
Exactly.
Right?
We learn, we know. When you know better, you do better.
I mean, that's why, like, we have this plethora of like resources out there. We're just talking about resources. And like, there's all this out there that I want to give to my kids, you know, because we have the opportunity now. There weren't all the resources when I was a kid.
Right.
So like, it's just a different time. It's a better time to be.
Yeah.
Not an easier time to parent, because sometimes when you have too many options,
it's very confusing.
It's challenging to navigate it all. But going back to like, we want to give, you know, because, you know, there's like a short window that we have, a childhood window.
Yeah.
Right. And then that window is what's going to frame the trajectory of their whole lives.
It's very true.
So I'm not saying just give them and, you know, unlimited like material things. Like, no, give them experiences, right? Yeah. Like, share conversations, and if you can, you know, provide whatever it is, right? Material, then I'm all for it. Like, people say, no, don't show your kids too much abundance, right? Because that's all that, you know, they're going to graduate and they're not going to know how to make it. I disagree. If you show them the best of everything that life has to offer, that's what they're going to, and you teach them that this came with hard work and discipline.
Teach them the values behind it.
Values. Yeah. Then that's what they're going to strive towards in life, right?
Right.
Not just giving them free trips, free whatever it is, right? Just endless material possessions, but like, show them the good life if you can give them the good life, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
Personally. That's my motto in terms of giving. Like, I really want my kids to have life experiences, because I feel like when they're 20 plus, right, they're going to want to strive to, I don't know, create, like innovate, go see places, learn languages. Like, they want to, they're not going to be like limited in their own beliefs of like, money didn't fall from the trees. You can't. It's hard. Scrape off the food from the plate. That's like a very limiting mindset, and that's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And it comes from lack, from this energy of lack, of there isn't enough, when there really is.
There is.
An abundance if you're open to it. Everything is about your perspective.
Oh, everything's perspective.
Yeah. I think literally everything is perspective. Like you and I are having this conversation together and we're experiencing it differently because we come from our own lens and experience and nervous system and attachment and all the things that make up who we are. And so I think that makes the world a really special place, that we can all have our own unique perspective.
It's like we're all neurodiverse.
Yes.
I always say that.
I could not agree more.
We're all neurodiverse. Like we're all different. You know, I don't like labels. You know, we're meant to be different. We're meant to be unique.
Yeah.
Like we're not meant to be robots. That's something that I talked about on my Substack. I wrote about it. Like I'm now a Substacker.
I see that. I honestly,
I'm obsessed.
So Rev, who you also know, introduced me to,
wonderful.
She introduced me to Substack, which I'd never heard of. And then when I got on there, I saw that you're on there and I was like, what is this thing?
I mean, I'm new, like I'm a month in, and I have to say, like, I'm not a big Instagram, TikTok person. In general, like social media is like, I love it because I actually follow people that like fill me up.
Yeah.
My algorithm is very like wellness babes, you know, like healthy places, you know, people making moves, not hustle culture, but like lots of podcasters, people in the wellness space.
Beautiful.
And I like it for that, right? But then you can get into like a deep, dark, like, what do they call them?
Loops.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't like. Right. So whereas Substack is an interesting platform because you're writing about the things that you're passionate about.
Right.
So for me, it's like I took my clinical lens, my 12 years of experience, and I created a file. And I just said, okay, this is kind of what I want to talk about. And then I went on Google and I did a little SEO experiment. I typed like, what are people searching for right now? Like what kind of problems, concerns are people asking solutions for right now?
That's so smart.
At the beginning of every article I write, I do that. I go into Chat or Gemini and I ask, what are people searching for? What kind of problems are people seeking solutions for? And I frame what I'm writing about based on what people are seeking.
So you know what's really cool about you? It's that you have this business background mixed with a clinical lens and background.
Very strategy focused.
It is brilliant and something that I speak to my husband about a lot because he went into finance and business and real estate. Like he did all of that and I did totally clinical.
That's how it works.
Yes, but it's so interesting because I'm doing this coaching right now with the amazing Dee Keller, who I'll probably have on this show at some point. And she talks to me about balancing the clinical Frances and the business Frances, and how for the majority of my career, I've been the clinical Frances and the business mind has been way back. And it's almost felt like I shouldn't prioritize that because then I'm like potentially harming my clinical lens. But really I'm both. And in order to do anything, I need to have both. And I love, like when you said what you did, I was like, that is brilliant. Like that is just so smart. It really is.
What about like taking away the notion of balance and saying I'm integrating?
Yeah.
Right? Like what is balance? Like balance doesn't work.
Well, balance is, if you really think about it, it is near impossible to achieve. And you need to have equal parts on each side. And like how? It's like
multitasking, like this hustle culture. Like I remember back in the day when I'd be applying for jobs with being like a newly graduated MBA, and it was like, you must be a multitasking. I'm like, multitasking? Like how is it possible to do 5 things concurrently and do it well?
You're not necessarily doing any of them well.
You know, it's going to be what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily, and that's like the whole balancing scenario. I don't necessarily believe that there is such a thing as a balance.
Correct. I'm with you.
Marriage is 50-50. You know, mother/solopreneur. No. every day is a new start. I love journaling.
Me too. I haven't done it in a while, actually.
Okay. If I'm on the, road and I need to make a note on my cell phone, sure. But it doesn't register the same for me
as handwritten notes.
Correct.
Same.
And that was another article I wrote about recently.
I think the handwriting, what comes out is so different than what I'm typing. Typing happens faster. So it allows for when there's a lot in there to come out faster. And I can read it after.
If you need to type up a report,
right,
it's fast. Right. But on a deeply a personal level, if you're looking to structure your life, establish routines, habits, rituals, I think it's really good to get a journal. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just paper, pen, right? But make it your place. I guess, get a book, something, journal. And have that moment with yourself. Just sit down, it's quiet, and journal. And start okay, what is the most important thing I need to accomplish today, this week? So it's SMART goal planning.
Yes.
Right? So long-term goal for this week and short-term goal for this week. And then actionable steps.
Beautiful.
So, and then you're not necessarily balancing. You're just prioritizing. You'll get to whatever it is that you need to get to. You have to pick up your kids.
Do I?
Right? Or you get a driver. But you have to get your kids, right? So that's order of importance. Next, right? So it's kind of what is most important? What is a non-negotiable?
Right.
And what can I just get to?
Right.
And that's your boundary. And I feel leaders, they're very successful today because they delegate. They don't multitask. They don't do everything. They hire.
It's true.
They hire people. They help them. Whoever owns this podcast studio is not doing everything. They're hiring people that they can count for.
Right.
They can count on, rather.
Right.
And they delegate.
It's true.
Same thing what you do in your practice.
Right.
Right. So you, as a mom, your balance is to delegate. Delegate your husband. If you're busy or you're tired and you need have him barbecue, whatever it might be, or leftovers. It's just about the delegating that makes people thrive today and successful in what they do.
Absolutely.
Just being a mom, it's the hardest job ever, but just because you're not necessarily working, but it's still a hard job and you still have to delegate. Delegate to your kids. They need to help you around the house.
Right.
You ask a neighbor for help. You ask your parents, your in-laws for help because you're one person, right? So this whole multitasking, hustle culture phenomenon, I think it's just done.
I think it should be done.
It's played out.
Yeah, I think it should be done.
People that are experiencing real burnout are realizing that culture is just, it's not a thing anymore. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable.
It's harmful. Yeah, I'm with you. Fay, before we go, I'd like to end my podcast by asking the person I'm speaking with to leave our listeners with a question or statement for them to sit with themselves.
Okay.
Is there something you'd like our listeners to ask themselves or think about?
Joy. I think joy is one of the most important things that we can give to ourselves as individuals. I'm not just talking to moms, I'm talking about all people.
Right.
I feel like people need to find alignment and joy. Personal alignment. What will make me joyful in life?
Yeah.
The people I work with. Maybe I need to narrow down the populations that I serve.
Right.
Right? You want to work with everyone in an ABA because you're loving and you want to help, but certain populations perhaps draining you. Should I narrow down the scope of my practice, right?
Right.
And my personal life, and that's the same thing, so on and so forth. Find alignment with yourself, set those boundaries, and that leads to joy. Those simple moments of oh, I actually I love that. Like I transitioned and now I talk to like men and women about intimacy, and it's not all sex related. It could be.
Right.
Right. But, you know, that brings me joy. And that comes from a place of like alignment. So they come hand in hand. Like I would walk away with, if that resonates with you and hopefully your listeners, like to find alignment, and that will result in, I hope, for your listeners, like joy. We need to be more joyful in life. Like it just goes by so fast. Time's a thief.
That was incredibly powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm going to sit with that one. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you.
It was such a pleasure being here.
How did it feel?
It's good. Good. Yeah, like you're easy.
You're easy to talk to too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.